Good evening and welcome to tonight's Zoning Board of Appeals hearing. Let me introduce some members of the town government that assist this board. To my left is Paul Hennings, attorney to the board. To his left is Blaise Donadio, a planner in the planning department. You are all here tonight seeking relief from the Smithtown zoning ordinances, and it's our job to try to help you achieve the relief you are requesting whenever possible. It's up to you to provide us with precise and accurate information so we as a board can make a decision based on the facts that you present here tonight. We as a board must consider the 5 conditions, and they're listed here for you. 1, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the variance. 2, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other means. 3, whether the variance is substantial. 4, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. And 5, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created. Procedures for tonight's meeting. Cases will be called in the order they are advertised. When you are called, please present your certificates of postings and mailings to Mr. Donadio. Then you will be asked to go to the podium where you would state your name and address for the record and proceed to tell us why you need the variance. At the end of your presentation, if anyone in the audience would like to speak on your case, they will be given 1 opportunity to do so. Then the applicant can come back to the podium to answer their concerns. Once the public hearing is closed, no further information will be accepted concerning the case. There are 3 ways to find out about your case. You can stay after the hearing, but there's no guarantee that your case will be acted on tonight. You can call the planning office tomorrow morning, or you can wait and be notified by mail. Liz?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First case on the agenda, number 17772, Andrew Beans, 17 Green Drive, Komak. The location of the property, the east side of Green Drive, 323 feet north of Genesee Drive. Property zone R10. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum side yard.
Hold on.
You can't hear me?
No.
Okay. Do you have the small green and white certified receipt cards? That's all you have.
Same thing, do you have them? Do they exist? What do you, the small green cards that accompany those?
I can find out from you. I had an architect that mailed them for me. I can ask them.
Okay.
Okay. They were supposed to go out certified mail, return receipt requested, so you would get these back in the mail. And there are small square green and white certified mailing receipts that are stamped by the post office. You should have those. Okay. All righty. Thank you.
Good to go.
All set?
Yes.
Okay. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum side yard setback from 12 feet to 10 feet and total side yards from 28 to 23 feet for a proposed 408 square foot attached garage addition.
Good evening.
Good evening, board members. My name is Andrew Benz, and with me here tonight is my wife, Erin. We own together the house at 17 Green Drive in Komak, and we appear before
Excuse me, can you just use the microphone, please?
Yes, I'm sorry about that. Good evening, board members. My name is Andrew Benz, and I'm here tonight with my wife, Erin, and we own the house at 17 Green Drive. I appear before the board tonight to ask for a variance to build a 1-car attached side yard garage. The garage will be the same depth as the current home. With this addition, my home will have a 2-car garage, similar to other homes in the neighborhood. It will be 1-story and match the roof lines of the existing garage. The garage will not impact the environment in any way. I ask the board to grant me relief for the zoning setback for my proposed attached garage. Thank you for your considerations.
Thank you. Anyone on the board have any questions on this case? Planning?
No, thank you.
No? Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? No? Can I have a motion to close this case, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda, 17773, Mark Levine, 72 Roxbury Drive, Komak. The location of the property, the north side of Roxbury Drive, 178 feet west of Crest Lane. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum west side yard setback from 12 feet to 8 feet for an existing 43-square-foot roof-over outside basement entrance. Reduce the minimum east side yard setback from 12 feet to 10 feet for an existing 660-square-foot deck. Reduce total side yards from 28 feet to 18 feet. Increase the maximum height for a fence on top of a deck from 4 feet to 6 feet.
All right. Good evening. Could you state your name, spell your last name for the record, and give your address, please?
Louis Castellano, Castellano, 2693 Middle Country Road, Lake Grove, New York.
Thank you.
I'm here on behalf of the applicant. We're here to request a side yard variance from 12 feet to 8 foot for a covered outside basement entrance, which has existed for many years. We're also here to reduce the east side setback from 12 foot to 10 foot for the existing 600-foot deck, which probably has been there for more than 10, 15 years. The maximum fence that we're talking about is actually lattice work. I handed the board up a photograph, decorative lattice work they added to a porch to hang plants and stuff from. It's not really a fence, it's just decorative lattice work on top of the porch, which is 6 foot high. We don't think it has any impact on the neighborhood. It is self-created, there's no environmental issues, and the variance we don't feel is substantial because there is many similar decks in the area of the subdivision and throughout the town of Smithtown. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right, thank you. Anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thanks.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? No. Can I have a motion to close this case, please?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you and have a safe evening.
You too.
The next case on the agenda, 17774, Patricia Long, 51 Broadway, Smithtown. The location of the property, the north side of Broadway, 500 feet east of Maple Avenue. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum rear yard from 50 to 36 feet for an existing 274-square-foot deck. Reduce the minimum distance to the rear lot line from 2 feet to 1 foot for an existing shed.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Patricia Long, L-O-N-G. I own the property in the house at 51 Broadway in Smithtown for just about 40 years now. I appear before the board tonight to request a variance in order to maintain my existing rear yard deck and shed. Many years ago, we had built a deck onto the back of our house without obtaining the proper permits. And that's what brings me here tonight to obtain a variance for the rear yard setback for the deck and the shed. The shed was already on my property when we purchased the home back in 1977. And when we were at closing, we were never told that it needed a permit. Everybody said, "Are you okay with the deck?" or with the shed, excuse me. And everybody seemed to be in agreement at the time of the closing back then. I know things have changed. The deck does not intrude on any adjoining properties at all. It does not impact the environment. Instead, I have done some planting around the deck. I ask the board to grant me the relief for the zoning setback for my two structures. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Anyone on the board have any questions?
No question.
No?
No, thanks.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? No? Can I have a motion to close this case, please?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
The next case on the agenda, 17775, Ralph Drews, 87 Croft Lane, Smithtown. The location of the property, the east side of Croft Lane, 928 feet north of Saxon Court. The property is zoned R43. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum side yard from 24 to 10 feet and total side yards from 60 feet to 29 feet to permit an accessory structure in the required side yard for a 150-square-foot pavilion.
Good evening.
Good evening, board members. My name is Ralph Drews, D-R-E-W-E-S. I am the homeowner of 87 Croft Lane in Smithtown. I am requesting a variance to reduce the minimum side yard from 24 feet to 10 feet and the total side yards from 60 feet to 29 feet to permit an accessory structure in the required side yard for a proposed 150-square-foot pavilion. When the house was originally built in 1990, the original developer had to get a variance for the frontage because the R43 zone called for 150-foot frontage and the property is on 100-foot. Subsequent to that, the back of the property borders Blydenburg Park, and the rear of the yard in the permitted rear yard is considered in wetlands, and this particular location where we want to place the pavilion is outside of the wetlands delineation, and we have a letter of clearance from the DEC. So it's really the only place we can construct that pavilion. It does not encroach on any of the neighbors' properties. Matter of fact, it cannot be seen from the neighbors' houses due to all of the foliage that's been planted throughout the years. I thank you for your consideration.
Okay, thank you. Anyone on the board have any questions?
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? No? Can I have a motion to close the case, please?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. Thank you.
The next case on the agenda, 17776, Daniel Standridge, 28 Orchard Drive in Fort Salonga. The location of the property, the northwest corner of Orchard Drive and Orchard Drive. Okay. The property is zoned R21. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum distance from pavement on the south side of Orchard Drive from 20 feet to 8 feet for an existing 6-foot fence.
Good evening.
Hello, guys. How are you? Daniel Stanridge from 28 Orchard Drive, Fort Salonga, New York. I am the homeowner there. I bought the house there about 3 years ago. I put up a white fence around my whole yard. It's about 6 feet in height. I'm the corner property. I put it 8 feet from the pavement. I didn't realize that that was like considered my front yard also. So I have it at 8 feet as of right now, and I know it's supposed to be at 20. So I'm here today to please ask you if I could leave it at the 8. It doesn't really cause any harm to like the environment or anything like that either. I have 2 little kids at home. That's the reason why when I bought the house, I put up a nice fence, and that's really it. So with your consideration, I would appreciate it. That's really it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone on the board have any questions?
It appears that the fence on the north is actually in the town right-of-way.
Okay. I don't know what that is.
You see, I guess on your survey, it shows that your fence is actually not on your property.
Okay.
At a minimum, we don't possess the authority to grant you relief onto the town right-of-way.
Okay.
But it is this board's practice to try and grant some relief when you live on a corner like that, so you have some more of a backyard, but it's very rare to 10 feet.
Okay.
More along the lines of 16.
Okay. Yeah, because I have it like 8 feet from the pavement, so it's like really far back as it is. And like I have some of the people that live on my block also actually park their cars on my lawn too, which I don't even really care. You mean I have my
Yeah.
white fence up anyway, you know? The only problem with moving it back more is I have all trees and stuff. So in order for me to move it back, which I wouldn't mind, I have to cut down trees all in the way and everything, you know? I put up a white PVC fence, which was like 20 grand to put up around my whole yard, and it's my first house. I didn't realize that
Yeah.
I had to go through permits and this and that. I paid for the permit, you know? I paid for everything else, and just like I said, I put up a nice fence. I didn't put up like a wood, I put up a really nice fence. I didn't realize that, you know?
It looks like that row of trees is right up against the back of the fence.
Yeah, so in order for me to move it back, I have trees behind that in my yard. Like I probably got another 20 of them all over the place, like one at 2 feet, one at 3 feet. So in order for me to move it back 5 more feet, I'd have to cut down more trees and pay someone to move it back. It would be like a hassle, but I understand, you know.
Yeah, like I said,
I just
we don't
figured-
have the authority to give you the right to put it on the town's property.
Okay.
Because you're actually over the property line
I
by
didn't
almost 3
realize
feet.
that. Okay, so what would I have to do in
Well,
this case?
I'm just one person, so
Okay.
it's whatever the board
Okay, I just-
decides as a whole.
Okay.
All right,
I
thank
I
you.
appreciate it. I really hope whatever it is, I guess, you know.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
guys.
Glenn?
Great day.
I have a question for the applicant.
Sure.
When you submitted your paperwork,
Okay.
I didn't receive either the affidavit of posting or the affidavit of mailing,
Oh, yes.
and I didn't receive the green and white certified mailing receipts.
I actually had an expediter help me with everything.
Okay.
to get it all done.
Can you see what you have?
Kind of got them back as that's the piece of mail, so I know that all of them.
That's your mailing list, but I don't see any affidavits. No.
These affidavits.
They are, I'll show you what they look like. They look like this. It's basically your signature notarized stating that you did in fact mail the letters and you did post the sign on your property 5 days prior.
Okay.
So actually, without the affidavits,
Okay.
you don't have sufficient mailing or posting.
Okay.
Do we have any here?
Do that, I have to expedite do that for me.
Doesn't it?
Do we have any blank ones here?
We may. I'd have to check the box.
Hmm?
Is there anybody here who can, oh yeah, actually, Rick can.
I appreciate it, sorry about that. I had an expediter do all my paperwork for me. She just told me just to go to the post office and mail out to those people and bring this with me with this form. I didn't know I didn't do anything else, so I never had that done. That's all I was told. Sorry about that.
So, when you speak with her tomorrow, you're gonna have to ask her to please give you these slips, and you'll have to submit them to our office.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
Let me see what I have in the box.
We gotta have, we should always bring extras. There you go.
Okay, so. After your case is done and they close your case, you'll want to fill these out. And then this gentleman right here can notarize it for you. And just make sure, well, you have the list, you don't have to fill out, you won't have to fill this out because you have this list, but fill out the front, sign it, have him notarize it, same thing with this.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
You want me to go back up there or is?
No,
No,
I don't think you have to.
no, you can just fill it out.
Yeah. I don't really have any comments. Mr. Tanzi pointed out that the fence is on town
Right.
property, so not
Right.
much else to say.
Thank you. Anyone in the audience like to be heard in this application? Come on up, please. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is John Bohan. I live at 54 Orchard Drive,
Could you spell your last name, please, for the record?
Bohan.
Thank you.
I'm here because of the problem we have on the neighbors, and the neighbors have, as we approach Orchard Drive at the corner, the fence and traffic, the visibility is impaired by the fence when we make that turn there. It has happened to me in the wintertime that I come close to that turn there, and cars are coming around the other end. It's very close sometimes because the road is actually now becoming very heavily trafficked because of the shortcut that people make from Pulaski down to Bread and Cheese Hollow Road. So it's getting to be a point where it's going to be an accident sooner or later because of the fact that the visibility is very, very much affected by the location of the fence right now where it's located.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else like to be heard on this application? Mr. Steinrich, would you like to respond to this gentleman's concerns, or?
What I could say about that is before I purchased the house, there was all bushes and trees. There's probably about like 100 trees, like all a block in there also. And I thought I took down some of them that were in the way. Like there's all like big shrubs and stuff like that. So really the corner, if you go around that corner, he is right about that. There's a lot of traffic now going down that road. Not to say anything, the third day I was in my house, I had a little dog actually. It got hit by the car, and it's not here now anymore. It was the third day I was moving in my house. That's another reason why I put up the fence, was because of that. Someone was flying down that road and hit him, you know. But that's, like I said, the fence I thought was moved back plenty of enough so when you go around that corner, if you drive up there, you really can't really see the fence until you actually go around it. But yeah, it is kind of a blind spot on that road, and you know, people do use it a lot to cut through now.
Right.
Which I was going to ask if we could maybe put something out there that way they don't, they don't fly down there, you know.
Okay.
Really don't really know.
Thank you.
What to say, you know?
Can I have a motion to close this case, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
The next case on the agenda, 17778, Michael Passione, 16 Quincy Lane, Smithtown. The location of the property, the east side of Quincy Lane, 375 feet south of Washington Avenue. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting a variance to increase the maximum permitted paved surface in the front yard from 25 to 41%, which is existing, and the side yard from 25 to 33%, which is existing.
Good evening.
Good evening, board members. My name is Michael Paccione, first name Michael, last name Paccione, P as in Peter, A-C-C-I-O-N-E. I own the home on 16 Quincy Lane in Smithtown. I appear before you to ask for a variance to increase the size of my front yard paved surface from 25 to 41% on the driveway, and the side from 25 to 33%. The reasons why I'm asking for this is to allow my cars to be removed off of the street, thus preventing narrowing of the street, and also give an area for my children to be playing onto the driveway, such as basketball hoops, and preventing it from being them playing into the street, being a hazard in that area.
All right, thank you. Anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? No. You have a motion to close this case, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda, 17779, Scott Wolf, 18 Midwood Avenue, Nesconset. The location of the property is the southwest corner of Midwood Avenue and Nesconset Avenue. The property is zoned R15. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the front yard setback from pavement from 20 feet to 16 feet for a proposed 6-foot fence.
You have the cards and the postings?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think you said, can I just ask you if you were Mr. Okay. I'm his architect. And we have it down as Scott Wolf as the applicant. We'll have to take a look at the file.
I think it has to be the owner of record.
Yeah. It has to be either the owner of record or yourself with the power to make the presentation. Don't have that, right?
Is the owner, can he come down here?
Is he available to come down tonight, do you know? Okay.
This is the last case.
No,
What's that?
Is this the last case?
no, it's one more.
No, one more case.
We have one more.
Yeah, we'll give that a whirl. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to hang on to this?
Right here in this closet.
Yeah.
He's going to try to get the owner down. You want to go on to the next one?
Sure.
The next case on the agenda, 17771, Lawrence Wenstrom, 215 Bow Drive East, Smithtown, the location of the property, the south side of Bow Drive East, 384 feet west of Stephen Place. The property is zoned R15. Thank you. The applicant is requesting a special exception to permit temporary living quarters for a parent. Variance to increase the maximum permitted square footage of a special exception from 600 square feet to 643 square feet. Variance to permit environmentally sensitive lands, groundwater less than 10 feet, to be used to calculate the permitted density, building coverage, floor area, or minimum lot area. To permit environmentally sensitive lands to be altered due to groundwater, to reduce the minimum required buildable lot area from 15,000 square feet to 0 due to groundwater, increase the maximum permitted gross floor area from 25% to 100% due to high groundwater, reduce the minimum rear setback from 60 feet to 46 feet, reduce the side yard setback from 16 feet to 15 feet for an existing 643 square foot addition, a variance to reduce the minimum rear yard setback from 60 feet to 30 feet for an existing 318 square foot screened-in porch.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
Are you the applicant, sir?
I'm for the applicant.
Can I, the applicant here?
Right behind me.
Good. I need the applicant first.
Okay.
Right.
Hi,
Good
I'm
evening.
Lawrence. I'm Lawrence Wenstrom, Wenstrom.
That's okay. Would you like this gentleman to speak on your behalf? Yes? Okay,
Yes, please.
fine. Could you state your name, spell your last name, and give your address for the record, please?
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Kevin Guilfoyle, Guilfoyle. My address is 86 Center Street, Lake Ronkonkoma, New York. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we're here before you tonight seeking a number of reliefs for area variances and a special exception, and as well as some environmental issues. First, I'd like to speak to the special exception. The apartment was constructed approximately 12 years ago and was built without benefit of permit. It was also built 1 foot into the side yard line, holding a 15-foot side yard. It was also built a little larger than what is allowed at 643 square feet. The applicant occupant here is Mr. Wenstrom's mom, who's also in the audience. She's lived there comfortably for the past 12 years with no incidents. The appearance of the unit from the street level looks consistent with a single-family residential structure. The neighbors are all aware of the variance application and have said to Mr. Wenstrom and Mrs. Wenstrom that they're fully supportive of it. Although they're not here in the audience today, we didn't feel it was necessary for them to come. As far as the special exception is concerned, we believe that the increasing in size is not that dramatic in that the square footage allows free flow access between the main dwelling and the accessory apartment. As far as the side yard, there was the adjacent property at 213 Bow Drive who received a variance from this board some years back for a side yard enclosed porch where I think they were only holding 10 feet. As far as the environmental issues, the structures have been in existence for 12 years, and I don't think they've proven to be any environmentally detrimental to the area. If the board has any questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
All right, thank you. Anyone on the board have any questions? Planning?
Mr. Chairman, Planning prepared a planning advisory report detailing our review of the application and recommended approval.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application? No? Can I have a motion to close this case, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you and good evening, Mr. Chairman,
Good
members of the
evening.
board.
No. I want them, I like them.
Oh, okay. It's okay. Were you able to get a hold of the applicant? He's coming.
Take a 5-minute break.
We'll take a 5-minute break. Good evening. Ladies, you want to read the case again?
You ready? Yeah. Okay. Case number 17779, Scott Wolf, 18 Midwood Avenue, Wisconsin. The location of the property, the northwest corner of Midwood Avenue and Wisconsin Avenue. The property is owned R15. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the front yard setback from pavement from 20 feet to 16 feet for a proposed 6-foot fence.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Are you the applicant?
I am,
Yes. Could you state your name for the,
Yes, Scott Wolf,
and your address, please?
18 Midwood Avenue, Wisconsin.
Okay. Now, would you like this gentleman to speak on your behalf?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Again, if you could state your name, spell your last name, and give the address for the record, please.
Yes, it's Eric Bjornaby from EAB Architectural Designs. Bjornaby is spelled B-J-O-R-N-E-B-Y. My address or the property?
Whatever
18
you'd like to
Midwood.
give.
My address is 4250 Veterans Highway, Suite 120 in Holbrook, New York.
Thank you.
We're going for a 4-foot variance for the addition, which is consistent with other variances that have been granted. It's a corner property, so we're trying to encapsulate as much of the backyard as possible. The intent is to put in a pool and to have some yard left over adjacent to the pool. That's it.
All right. Anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No question.
Planning?
No, thank you.
No?
Thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application? No. Can I have a motion to close this case, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that concludes the presentations for this evening. Thank you.